Imaginez vous dans un café à Paris, habillé avec style, un peu comme Emily in Paris, mais sans mieux. Vous commandez un croissant et un café s'il vous plaît. Et voilà, vous engagez une conversation avec les locaux tout en français. Vous pensez que c'est un rêve? Pas du tout. C'est tout à fait façade. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Lydia here. So 3 years ago, I didn't speak a single word of French. I started learning at the end of 2021, just before my first trip to Paris. Et aujourd'hui, mon professeur m'a dit, je suis un nouveau B1. Today, my French teacher told me that I'm actually at the level of B1. I'm so proud of this progress. Stay with me because in this video, I'm going to share how you can start ready to speak in just 3 months and take your trip to Paris. Why do I want to learn French? So I've always been a fan of French culture and the food and cuisine and everything. Also because I have a lot of French friends. My French friends always say, I wish one day I can talk to you in French. 3 years ago when I moved to London, because I actually have the chance to visit Paris, and that's when I start properly learning French. At the beginning, like everyone else, I'm just like playing Duolingo on my phone. At the start, pronunciation is the #1 thing I would say. I found my teacher on Preply. She's like one of the best.
I'm with my French teacher today. Say hi.
Bonjour! She's very strict about any of my pronunciation. She literally would stop me mid-sentence and say, Lydia, start again. She said that this is like a muscle practice. It took me a long time for me to like get used to all those R sound and stuff like that. I remember my file is like me sending back and forth of how I practice French. She would record a sentence, she would send it to me, and I would record a sentence and send it back to her. But that really gives me a boost in confidence because the first time I spoke to anyone in Paris, I would say, Bonjour, comment ça va? Je voudrais une table juste pour moi, s'il vous plaît. And that's the first sentence I said to people in the restaurant. And that guy was like, I think he made me think that I actually speak French like fluently. Didn't know that I only speak that one sentence, but he's shocked in a good way. So it actually pushed me further of how I wanted to advance my French learning. Secondly is consistency. I'm a very consistent person. As if you follow this channel, you know I've been putting out videos in the past 4 years, every week almost. I treat French the same way. I always have a non-negotiable hour every week. No matter where I am, I could be in Hong Kong, New York, Lisbon, traveling in Greece. I always have that 1 hour with my French teacher. I eventually changed a French teacher because my previous French teacher was not free. Also, I become friends with the first French teacher. I even went to Paris and visited.
So I'm in Paris with my French teacher today. We're going to go to this brunch place and currently wait in line. And this is the tradition that they give each other flowers for May the 1st.
Et qu'est-ce qu'on dit? Bon 1er mai.
Bon 1er mai. Bon 1er mai. Petit déjeuner en ordre.
It's such a great experience because I got to like walk around the city with her and she would tell me the history and stuff like that.
It's like a small brioche with cream in the middle.
And then I changed the teacher. You can see it in our conversation here because we have a Zoom call every week.
Bonjour Lydia, ça va?
Ça va?
Ah très bien. Ça va, la vie est belle. Hein? Bon, il fait un peu froid, mais...
Sometimes I think people think too much about how they should go about their learning a different language. For me, I didn't really put too much of an effort to go through those agendas and go through exams and stuff. I seize every single opportunity to practice, and I have that non-negotiable hour on my calendar every week. That actually adds up to the progress. The next is you should always practice without fear. I sometimes read books about people learn different kind of languages. Me, personally, I speak 3 fluently, Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. I also dabble around a little bit of Japanese. I can say, 私はLydiaです。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。Which means, I'm Lydia, it's nice to meet you. Please take care of me, something like that. It's like enchanté in French. What really helped me is no matter when I had the chance, like I would be in Paris, as you can see some of my videos at the beginning, I don't even know how to say stuff. I just like, I know how to say, this is my reservation, it's a nice day.
Bonsoir. Comment ça va?
Et vous?
C'est une réservation c'est de langue Lydia.
Lydia.
Ouais. Pour une personne.
Vous parlez très bien français.
Oh non, pas bon français, pas bon. J'ai étudié le français depuis l'année dernière. Exactement un an.
Un an.
Oh, non.
C'est vraiment bien.
Oh, merci beaucoup. C'est difficile la langue.
I never really am afraid of making a mistake. Even at the very beginning, whenever I talk to my French friends, I would try to open the conversation with French and I would be like, "Comment ça va?" And then they will reply me and say a whole bunch of things in French I don't understand. And I will say something that I'm really familiar about the weather and stuff. I'm like, oh, je suis content aujourd'hui parce que il fait beau. All of those small mistakes actually adds up to like the progress. As long as you don't mind of making mistakes, think about how we grow up learning our own language. We make so many mistakes. As long as you make progress and people are actually friendlier than you think. When I went to Paris, when I speak French, people are actually very encouraging. I remember there's one time I went to this shop, I wanted to buy a pair of shoes, so the whole time I was communicating with them in English because I haven't learned how to buy a pair of shoes in French yet. I wanted just like commenting on the weather about it's a nice day, so that's my most fluent French. I would be like, oh, il fait beau aujourd'hui. And those two people, they were so shocked, they were like, tu parles français? But actually that's all I know, right? So usually I'm just like, je suis désolé, c'est tout. Actually leads to the next point, which is mastering the first 5 seconds, which also tie back to why pronunciation is important, why consistency is important, why don't be afraid of making mistakes is important. At the beginning, I will go to a shop and then I would just be like, Bonjour, comment ça va? People would reply back, there was would be like, ça va, et vous? And then I have no clue how to reply. But it's fine because I demonstrate that I'm in your country, I'm learning your language, I'm trying, and so that people actually is more friendly. Because when I pronounce, for example, the weather is good, they will be trying to speak to me non-stop. I realize I possibly only know that one sentence. It's also fine because I think the experience is really like, they were like, ah, cool, she's learning French. That's about it. And you also wanted to have as much positive experience as possible. Sometimes I would go to conferences. This is also part of the reason why I started learning French, because I feel like it's always easier to speak people's language, especially in conferences and people, if they speak the same language, they will always be in groups. It's very hard for me to break into any circle. But since I started learning French, when I noticed that somebody actually French is their native language, at least I can say, vous parlez français. I think they actually at least can remember me better, and then that's all I need. The next tip is actually watch more French TV shows and immerse yourself in just this language. So I have several shows that I really like. One is called The Parisian Agency, so it's a real estate show. Very day-to-day French conversations and French expressions. I love that show. Whenever I watch that show like non-stop, my French will just improve a lot, especially the pronunciation. My French friend said it to me. What's happening? Your French has improved so much. And then there's another show called Croissant. It's the English is The Agent. It's actually a very famous show on Netflix. You can watch it. It's like 10 seasons or 7 seasons or something like that. I also watch a YouTube channel called Easy French. They have different levels of difficulty when you try to learn French. They have super easy, slow French, and that's just like word by word pronunciation. And sometimes the ones that I love the most is when they go onto streets and actually interview people in French about some kind of topic.
Et ça vous donnera peut-être des idées. C'est parti! Quel est le cadeau que vous rêvez de recevoir pour Noël?
Alors, plus de temps dans la vie. Plutôt que quelque chose emballé, du temps, ça c'est ce qui me manque.
Et comment on fait pour avoir du temps?
Je pose la question, mais j'ai pas encore eu de réponse.
For example, what do you do after work? What is your favorite season in Paris? And stuff like that. That's very conversational and that's really, really helpful. There's another one, it's on Spotify, it's called Little Talk in Slow French. I like the girl's voice, it's always very calm. When you wanted to learn French, the best way is to spend more time in France. I've been to Paris 10 times at least. Every single time I go there, I picked up some new phrases, I will strike some new conversations, I will increase the confidence of speaking a little bit more French, just a little bit more. The best way is always to be there and not be shy. Learning French has changed my life, and I know it can change yours too. It might be daunting and intimidating at the beginning, but if I can start learning at the age of 30 and reach the level of B1 in just 3 years, you definitely can do it too. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Every small effort counts, so start today. You'll be surprised at what you can achieve. apprendre le français a changé ma vie. Et je sais que cela peut changer la vôtre aussi. Si vous avez toujours le rêve de parler français, commencez aujourd'hui. Vous serez surpris de ce que vous pouvez accomplir. That's a wrap. It's a lot of practice actually. But it's fun. That's the fun part of learning a language. It's making the mistakes, it's going back and forth again and again. Practice, practice, keep practice. And finally, one day, we'll all be surprised of all the progress we have made. Trust ourselves more and more in everyday life. If you like this video, you possibly will like my book club videos. I have a list here. If you're also a fan of Paris, a lot of videos on my channel. Just need to go to the blog playlist and you can see all of my trips. Also have a little bit of clips of how I speak to people in French, and I actually have improved little by little, petit à petit. I'll see you next time. Merci, à bientôt.
I think everybody has their own version of Paris. To me, it's the Haussmann building, it's the Eiffel Tower, it's the breakfast that you can eat with amazing French pastries. It's also when you watch the sunset together with the lights lit up in front of Champs-Élysées, and also the memories and stories you can create in this beautiful romantic city. To me, it's the morning when you wake up and see the Eiffel Tower. So beautiful that you just want to watch it again and again.